Hey, what's up? It's me, your girl E. Happy Saturday. Today is January the 24th of 2026. We are live. I'm very excited because we are doing, of course, writing the Saturday writing session. We talked about plot development, writing tips, and how to write that book. Um, as mentioned before, we have the writing workshop. That's actually next week. There's still time to register. Go to You can go to my email if you want to register, to let me know if you want to register. The email address is writersblockpub@yahoo.com. Right. The payment to register, you can pay me via Cash App. Here's my Cash App handle at Cash App at writersblockpub84. You can Venmo, the Venmo handle at writersblockpub. And then, of course, PayPal at PayPal/eDavis LLC. Once you go ahead and register, I will get an email notification. Of course, you can always send me an email at this email address here, and I will send you a workshop packet. This will be done via StreamYard. Why I'm choosing StreamYard is because I want this to be recorded, and then of course upload it on YouTube, just to bring more content to for writing tips and things like that. The writing workshop is a great workshop to help you kind of tap into what you're writing, how to construct your plot, how to do your character development, even how to tell a story. Even telling a story if you're writing your memoir. A lot of people that ask me about writing their memoir and I got a story to tell, they tell me this all the time. I've been told to write a book and I got so much to I've been through so much. Okay, I get it, because who hasn't been through a lot? Not to be dismissive or downplay your experience and what you've been through. However, you have to tell a story even when you're writing your memoir. You want to put your reader in the atmosphere, in the scene, so they can really, really, really understand. Also, you got to really, really, really explain why you thought the way you thought in that moment, right? And that can all be discussed and elaborated on during the workshop. So again, here is the flyer for the writing workshop. It is next week on the 31st from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. It's only 2 hours. It will be on StreamYard. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that we will be live doing the workshop, but it will be recorded. Hi, Stocked24. Okay, thank you so much for joining. Please like and subscribe and share. Even tell us where you're from. What state are you calling from? I mean, are you watching from? Okay. Nob. What's Nob? Noob. Tell me where that's from or what that means. All right. I think it was last week or the week prior. We were talking about, of course, plot development. We were going over the rising action and the climax, and I'm going to kind of redo that because I was actually sharing a story of mine, a book of mine, August Schofield, The American Dream. And we went into the exposition, which is the beginning, the introduction. We learned that our character, her name is August Schofield. She is named after Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's playwright August Wilson. She's currently living in New York. Oh, my sister typed. Okay, no worries. You're from, oh, okay. I'm from Pittsburgh. All right, Big F's 412. Nice. Thank you so much. Again, please subscribe, and share. I really appreciate that. Okay, if you don't know what nobe means, it's time to crawl. All right, I got it. Crawl out the rock. All right, let's do it. Just let's get it done. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch. As mentioned, we were talking about August Schofield. She is, let's see, here's a copy. Here is the book here. I've written this some time ago. This was maybe before 2011. I want to say I written this book. It was actually published, I want to say, in 2016 or 2017. But nonetheless, I written this book. August Schofield is a single mother, an author who wants to write her signature novel, what she referenced to as her Gatsby, right? She has received significant amount of commercial success as a celebrated author and writer. However, it's not exactly what she wants. She wants to write something more meaningful, something that really discusses, that brings about a discussion. Anyone that wants some type of, any artist, I will say, musician, painter, sculptor, um, writer, whatever the work is, you definitely want to put your heart in it, and you definitely don't want to compromise the integrity of the art. I just got done watching um, the Bruce Springsteen movie, Deliver Me from Nowhere. That was actually a good movie. I'm definitely familiar with Bruce Springsteen, aka the Boss, and I watched it twice to really understand it. One, he definitely dealt with mental health, which is depression, and I'm very proud that he takes the time to get the help that he needs and seeks therapy. Right, the work that he was doing on in the movie. If you haven't watched the movie, I apologize for the spoilers. The work that he was doing for his album, I believe is the Nebraska album. I could be mistaken. He was creating a different sound. It was very authentic, acoustic, imperfection, imperfected sound. My interpretation of that is because his backstory. It was a lot of imperfections in his backstory, and he was definitely wrestling with a lot of imperfection because he was now becoming quote unquote Bruce Springsteen. If you haven't watched it, it is on Hulu. It's called Springsteen, uh, Deliver Me from Nowhere. It is great, a great movie, and it definitely deals with. I mean, it definitely you definitely learn the writing process of Born in USA, Glory Days, things like that. It's I like it, you know what I mean. But again, the purpose of that is as an artist, you don't want to compromise who you are as a artist, the integrity of your work. And that's what August Schofield is really dealing with because she wants to write her signature book. Now, when we were reading this, I have a copy of my book here. When we were reading this, we were learning that she um, was at a bar and grill type place working on a book, maybe brainstorming a book, and she was just stuck. She couldn't really focus. And coming in was a movie star, an actor who she admires. And she wanted to introduce herself because this movie star became a muse to her when she was working on her third book. However, she didn't want to seem like the fangirl or starstruck fan. So we don't know if she will actually go to introduce herself and say, "Hey, I'm August Schofield. I'm a fan of yours." We don't know. That is the plot. Well, I don't say the plot twist, but that's the dilemma. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about is the rising action. As we were reading the last time, it's now rising up to, will she go to this guy or will he address her to speak to her? Okay. We also know that she has a brother named Xavier. She has a daughter named Joy, and we learned that that she's a single parent. All right. So let's see, where was I at? Let me start off where she's a divorced mother. I'm going to start off where let me see. I sat down and focused on my writing. Within a few moments, Chris returned to my table. August, she said. I looked up. There's a table with ladies who are reading your book for their book club. They would like to meet you. So August is a now, I guess, famed, celebrated writer. And so there's a group of ladies that actually are reading one of her books for their book club. The days of reading, I don't know if you still read, comment, post in the comments. I'm a reader. Even type or comment which type of book that you're currently reading or any books that you suggest, because me personally, I don't, unless it's Oprah, I don't see a lot of book clubs. All right. She says, okay, I grinned. I followed Chris to the round table where 4 women were seated. As I approached them, they smiled at me. Hello, I said to them. Ladies, meet August Schofield, Chris introduced. The ladies began to introduce themselves. Denise, Beth, Brandy with an I, was the introduction. Monica. Ladies, how are you? Brandy with an eye held up her book as she puffed on a cigarette. I smiled. It's my latest book, the one I dedicated to Tommy. I slowly took in a deep breath and then slowly exhaled. Where I'm sorry, we are in a book club, Beth informed. And your book is our book of the month, Miss Schofield. We love your work. August, and thank you. Can you sign our books? Denise asked, smiling. Of course. As I signed the lady's books, as I signed the lady's book, we talked. Are you ladies from around here? Yes, Beth answered. We came here for the hot wings, and what are the odds of meeting you? I grinned. When is your book? When is your next book coming out? Monica asked. I quickly glanced. I quickly glanced at quickly glanced at my table and then at Tommy, and then looked at the ladies. Soon. Can you tell us what it's about? Denise asked with a grin. I chuckled, indicating that I won't. The ladies then laughed. Well, ladies, I have to go, but it was a pleasure meeting you, I said. I looked towards Chris. Chris, their bill on me. The ladies cheered and laughed. I told them again that it was a pleasure meeting them and then went back to the table. As I sat down, I glanced at Tommy. He had finished his steak and he was smoking again. I focused on my journal. Focus, August, focus, I said to myself. With my muse right here, I should have no problem coming up with a good story. I had a concept, I had characters. Now, write August right. So while Tommy Gibbs and his friends talked and laughed with each other, I wrote in my journal. I was in a world that I created since I was 8 years old. This was not some form of Neverland, but it was my imaginary place. My father called it the land of Og. The world was my world was a place where power exists, not the not the epic fantastic power, but there was mind control, manipulating agenda, cunning strategies. My world was not diaries or memoirs, but a place that captures you. In my work, my characters deal with issues that may not be more than everyday agendas, but to the average man, but to my characters, some issues were high priority. I wrote down ideas for an hour. When I finally looked up, I checked my watch. I was going to call Joy again, but it was well after 10 p.m. I knew that she was off in dreamland. I was now in the need of scenery change. The dim light in the lounge was beginning to hurt my eyes, and the secondhand smoke that I inhaled probably took 15 years off my life. But if I leave, I might miss the opportunity that that I may have to talk with Tommy. Going up to him was not an option, but at least if I think that I had a chance, then I can stay. Then I had this epiphany. Now we're at the climax. I did not need to meet Tommy Gibbs. He is my muse. He does not need to know that. And I don't care if he cares. And I don't care if he doesn't care. I'm not a best-selling author because of him. I'm inspired to be the best because of him. I looked at his table. I saw one of his friends. They were on their cell phone. He had gotten up. He had gotten up from the table to talk on the phone. The other friend was reading over the food bill. Then Tommy looked at me. Our eyes met. He smiled at me. My heart stopped beating. He raised his glass to me, saluting me, and then he finished his wine. All right, that right there. This is I just read an excerpt from my book, August Schofield, The American Dream. It is available on Amazon. Go check it out. Again, it's about a young woman who wants to write her signature novel. Okay. It's her work, her art. Oh, okay. Ankh Braun 10 from Philly. Philly, let me see. I love it. I love it. Nice. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and share. Gabrielle Castro, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and share. Thank you again for watching. Please, this is very nice of you to even take the time. So the climax, I believe it was August, except, let me see, where did I say the climax was? Because I was happy that somebody's actually watching my videos. The epiphany, I don't need Tommy, this epiphany, this explosion. I guess the explosion, the epiphany was, I don't need him to know that I'm a fan, or I'm not doing that. That was the epiphany. Now, was that a dramatic event where it's like, oh my God, no. But it was a moment that said, I'm cool. Okay. I've came to myself and I'm cool. Right. The rising action is leading up to the explosion. Okay. Um, if you have to go back on the video dealing with the plot development, what I wanted to do with this actually the short story was just share um, a type of introduction into the book and to August Schofield's journey as an author and her taking on her journey as she writes. Okay. What we learn with the rising action leads to the climax. The rising action in my book is everything's leading up to the climax. And her climax was the epiphany. Okay. The rising action was Tommy Gibbs coming into the restaurant with his friends. Ironically, he's sitting next to her table. The rising action is when she had talked to her brother about it. Her brother had asked her, are you going to say anything? Nope, I'm not. The rising action is her being fascinated with him at the table. And then the rising action was at the point where she's now distracted and she's meeting some fans. And she's going to, of course, be the be the polite author that she is and thank the fans for buying her book and pay for their meal as and just do some basic idle water cooler chit chat with the book. The epiphany is the acceptance, the explosion. I don't need to meet this person. Okay. I don't need to go to his table. I don't need to take a picture or a selfie as we do. I'm okay with that. And then we come to the falling action. The falling action is where it comes to the closure. She says, I am not a best-selling author because of him. I am inspired to be because of him. That simply means that the artistry in him inspires the artistry in her. And the conclusion is, of course, when he actually now salutes her. That's it. That's the conclusion right there. Now that's brief and like, okay, wow, that's kind of short. No, it's a short story. So if you go back to the previous video, you'll see the beginning of the story. We are introduced to this writer. Her name is August Schofield. We understand that she's at a bar and grill, her office away from home, where she can kind of just sit back, kind of relax a little bit, and kind of work on the book. We are introduced to her daughter and her active imagination. Her name is Joy. We are introduced to her brother, Xavier, who he sometimes kind of picks at her because August is the oldest sibling, but she's shorter, and he kind of calls her little sister. And then here comes a new character, Tommy Gibbs, and we have a quick backstory into August. She is from Pittsburgh, big ups to the 412, and she's a divorced single mother, and she is now living out her dream, the American dream. Now we can get into the politics of the American dream. We can get into the moral issue. We can get into the emotional issue. The American dream is just to live your life the best of your ability and to be content and happy with what you have, right? You can be a worker at McDonald's. You're making average money. You're living okay. You have a wife, husband, children, and you are happy. That is the American dream. It's the pursuit of happiness. You do not need to be on Wall Street. You do not need to be in $1 million mansion. You do not need to be in a three-piece suit riding around in the Escalade or the Maybach. If you want that and you are achieving for that, then that's your American dream. But if you just want to keep it simple, that's your dream, right? The title of the American dream is because, again, she wants to write her signature novel. So she is unhappy with where she is as a author. And we see that throughout the book. Again, the book is available on Amazon. So when you're writing, right, you remember your characters. We can get into character development when we do our character development session. The rising action is the first major obstacle. The major obstacle is what the obstacle was her having writer's block because she has to work, right? What stakes are increased? What gets worse if the protagonist fails? What gets worse is she could lose her writing contract just if she doesn't deliver a book. Midpoint moments, big wins, losses, or revelations that changes the story direction. Big win moments. One of the big win moments is there were fans at this bar and grill and they wanted to meet August Schofield. Were there any losses? I can say there was maybe a loss of confidence because at beginning she did not have the confidence to approach her muse, Tommy Gibbs, and say, "Hey, I'm a fan of your work." Okay. There's things that we've done, people, where we don't exert ourselves because we don't have the confidence to do so. All right. And the revelation that changes the story's direction. The revelation was the epiphany, that climax. The revelation was, I don't need to meet him. I'm good. He doesn't make or break me. I'm good. All right. And what is the lowest point? When everything seems lost. There technically was not a low point in this particular short story, but her mind was kind of all over the place because she had to focus on her work, on her ideas, on working on a new book. All right, August Schofield. That's it for the writing session. I but did not plan on staying on here for no more than a half hour. But if you have, of course, any questions or comments, drop them in the comment section or simply email me at writersblockpub. Put that email back up. Boop. Writersblockpub. Don't forget to register for the workshop. All right. I'm gonna tell you right now, register for the workshop. You will not regret it. I've had writers whose book I published do extremely well with their debut publishing because of them taking the workshop, simply because they listen and took the advice. I am a seasoned author. I've been officially published since 2014. I have established my company since Writer's Block Publishing LLC. 2016. I've been writing since I was 8 years old. So I'm established. I'm a seasoned. Do I would call myself an expert? No, because I'm constantly learning new things. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Even click the bell. Ring my bell. Click the bell. And I will see you next Saturday.